Hello, my name is Larry Woods, and this is Testimonial with Prostate Issues. Medical history-wise, I think it was about 2011. I was in for my annual checkup with my primary physician, and at that time I had had no real issues. It seemed as far as long-range health issues, so I didn't have to go in very often. But on that particular visit, as she always did, each year she gave me a physical prostate check. And in this particular time, she probed a little longer. And once she had finished the exam, she told me that the prostate was sort of rough feeling, that it just didn't feel normal, and it felt enlarged. So she suggested that I see a urologist, and since I hadn't needed a urologist, I asked her for a referral, and she referred me to a urologist and went ahead and set the appointment for me, or called them and had them call me to confirm an appointment. So that was 2011. Once I did see the urologist, he checked and a blood test, and my PSA was pretty high. I think it was in the range of high fours or 5 point something. And he said I should come back in a month and do another test. So I went back, and that time it had gotten up approaching 6. So he said that it didn't seem like it was the most aggressive type, but that it could be, I was about 63 or 4 at the time, so he just said it could be, a chance that I could go through the rest of my life and it not pose a problem, or it could get really aggressive and could, it could metastasize along the way. And so anyway, if it indeed it was prostate cancer, I went after that second test. He set a time to do a biopsy. He said the only sure way, he said, all appearance was it would be some form of prostate cancer with the PSA being on high, but that he would like to do the biopsy and confirm that it was cancer, and about how much of the prostate that it covered. The biopsy wasn't pleasant. I mean, it was done without, and it was just like a quick shot thing, in several different parts of the prostate. Not pleasant, but doable. And I think he had the results within a week or two, and he said it was cancer, and that it had, right at the time, it showed to be in about half of the prostate, as best he could tell. So then we just started discussing what treatment I'd want to do. He said he could do some, maybe just prescription treatment, but that would just be delaying things probably. He talked about radical surgery, which would be total removal. So anyway, he suggested a book. As a matter of fact, I think he passed a book to me that had a lot of information from a doctor in Seattle, Washington, and had written it. And it was a thick book, probably 2 or 3 inches thick. I pretty much read the whole book. I read through all the options and different things, and the main things that it suggested pretty heavily was either radical surgery to remove the prostate, which is a sure bet supposedly, because that gets rid of everything, or if I try to preserve some of the prostate, maybe some type of radiation therapy. They had some types where they just radiated the whole prostate, and it would kill off the cancer, but a lot of times it would kill much of the prostate too, if not all. And they were developing a system at that time. Again, it's 2011. Developing a system of radiation where they could pinpoint the areas of the prostate that they could treat. But that came a little late. I'd already set up an appointment to have a radiation seed implant done. So I I could have changed it, but it took me a long time to get that, and that appointment was set firm. So rather than to risk waiting for this other radiation therapy to be finalized and to get an appointment and set up a time, I decided I better go with the sure thing. So I went to Las Colinas there near Dallas to a doctor there, and it was done in-house in his clinic. And the seed implant was done, and I think he said he put 20 or 30 seeds, radiated seeds, which were, as explained to me, about the size of kernels of rice. So anyway, that was done. I went in, was anesthetized, and didn't feel a thing until I woke up. And when I did, it was pretty miserable for about the next 15 or 20 hours. My girlfriend had taken me down. I spent a miserable night in a motel right next to the doctor's office, and then it was Hilton, I think. And then she drove me back home, and it was probably another couple of days of kind of miserable feeling, just not feeling good. But anyway, it was a lot of pain. Just main thing, just feeling really raunchy, and that part of it was the radiation effect, I think, of making maybe queasy, and the other part was the actual pain of them going in and doing the surgery. So anyway, got it done. Couldn't hold my grandkids in my lap or be near a pregnant woman within a few feet of a pregnant woman for 6 months. And so that was kind of hard with the grandkids and not being able to hug them close or whatever. But it was doable. And same with having sex. It seemed that he said it probably wouldn't be a risk to my girlfriend, but that it would probably not be a good idea for a while. So we held off for a while. As far as the overall medical history, as time went on, we did get back to. I was able to have sex, somewhat limited, and not anything like it had been before. And since then, it hasn't really improved all that much along that line. But I still get the prostate checks once a year, and sometimes, usually once a year, as far as the PSA count. And so far, it has come out 0.4 every year that I can remember. I don't ever remember a time it went high. So I've had to suffer in a way of intimacy. It seemed to have done the job as far as killing the cancer. So it seems to be no sign. I better look at the next question. Medical history in the family as far as prostate. I asked around after I found out I had it, and I was not able to ascertain that anybody in my family had ever had even a swollen prostate, and certainly not prostate cancer. For some reason, I was the exception to the rule on that. Okay, what conditions related to prostate health have I been diagnosed with? Well, it was, as I described, because I went through the whole history, it was cancer. And one of the signs early on with that was that my stool would come out in odd forms, ribbony and different, nothing the standard round. So that was something that I probably should have gotten suspicious of long before my primary physician actually did the check that found that there was something wrong with prostate. So that and sexual intimacy was something that was dying off as time went on too. And I would have to get up, make frequent bathroom trips there for several months before I found out, maybe even a year before I found out that I had a problem with the prostate. I better glance at my little sheet here. The biggest problem associated with enlarged prostate, mine wasn't necessarily diagnosed as enlarged, but it had aberration that had malformity, and it was, as she described, felt rough to the touch, and of course it turned out to be cancerous. So enlarged prostate diagnosis, my understanding is sometimes something you can live a long time with, but it's just a problem. But in the PSA count, I think on enlarged prostate, it may not go up as high as it would with cancer. But either way, that was the history of the diagnosis of my prostate. And even to this day, I do not have the same girlfriend, and I don't have a regular woman. So it's hard for me to say right now how long range the effects along the intimacy line has been, but I still, on a very rare occasion, do have an intimate relationship of a sort. Um, how's it impacted my life? That's probably it. I find even before these days uh, of coronavirus shut in and uh, you know self whatever it's called, staying all by yourself. I guess that's been an easier adjustment for me since I've been staying all by myself most of the time anyway. So it hasn't been really bad. But that's probably the big thing is that it just seemed like it's been real difficult to develop an intimate relationship. And I still look and I still see a woman that I'll get friendly with. She'll get friendly with me. But it always seems to still stay as a surface type of relation. So that's probably my biggest disappointment, and what I think to me is the main long range effect. Um, for good, how could supplement supporting good prostate health help you in your daily life? Supplement supporting. I don't know if that means taking supplements. I took Prostaclear or something along that line, and there was an herb that was made for the designed primarily for the prostate, and I took some of that along the way once I found out I was having prostate problems early on. I don't take anything now that's necessarily designed for the prostate. Again, as long as my PSA stays low, I think that I don't see a need right now. I do take some vitamin supplements for other reasons and other things. But that's pretty much a wrap on my medical history of everything that happened to me from the time I realized I had a problem with my prostate. It's a situation I think every man should pay attention to. And I told my doctor a couple of times that I appreciated her very much because I know over the years I'd have another primary physician. I'm not sure that it doesn't seem like it was in a yearly check. But anyway, it was something she recognized immediately, and we did something about. So I am thankful to her, and I'm thankful to the surgeon who performed the seed implant. And again, I don't necessarily recommend that over anything else, but it seems to have been the right approach for me and the right treatment for my cancer. And now, as far as I know, I am cancer-free and hope to remain that way. And next in line is to develop a intimate relationship with some pretty lady real soon. My name is Larry Woods. This has been a testimonial for my experience with prostate issues, and I hope it'll inform someone out there. Thank you very much.